welcome back. This is the second video on the real estate case study competition. At this point, you guys should have received the outline, of course, the master copy of the model, the rent roll PDF, as well as the broker's OM at this point. So, just to kind of reintroduce the concept of what we were trying to do here, the whole point of this case study competition was to essentially teach the fundamentals of what happens in the real estate, private equity, development, industries, just overall, how could you purchase a property, analyze it, and potentially invest in it. And that's something that we found Fordham University lacked to an extent because CRE is not a big, you know, teaching concept at Fordham. And that's what we were trying to explore further here. So at this point, you guys should have already done the location, site, and zoning analysis, as well as the multifamily and retail analysis. I could pull up my copy of kind of what I did. Hopefully guys is a lot nicer or more full than mine. I just have a couple things on here that I thought were important to use. The zoning, this is important. Site analysis, and then as well as your own analysis into the broker's OM. So now that we did the location overview, location analysis, site analysis, zoning analysis, the trends, we can finally get into the financial modeling of this whole thing. And I'll just go over how to use the model, what I did, and what you guys should look out for when analyzing this property. This is the model that we'll be using. Kind of something I came up with after talking to some of our alumni advisors and the professors at Fordham University, and also what I've done in the past, my own personal work, various internships and such. This is kind of the norm. A lot of developers and private equity shops will, at least on the smaller side, typically get a template. Top Shelf Academy makes templates, for example, and they'll use that. But a lot of the bigger shops will either have their own or make you build one out. And this is the one that I've built out. Hopefully, you guys will either amend this or use this for your own competition use. So, just to get started, this is the property summary. Basically, just gives an outline right in your face what we're looking at here. Projections, this goes into, or most of this stuff flows into the other tabs, but this, projects over a 15-year hold period, which is what we'll be looking at, as well as gives you, important information, IRR, your debt service coverage ratio, things like that. The T12 and the pro forma, this is all stuff that can be found on the offering memorandum. I'll pull that up right here. This is your T12, trailing 12 months of financial information, except that we'll be using the rent roll for a lot of this information. And I'll show you guys that in a second. That rent roll, this is how it looks like. That's essentially from that. And then the amortization schedule, all 360 payments of it. So yeah, one thing I want to point out specifically on this model, which probably can sound a little bit confusing, is this scenario analysis. So in order for all of these numbers to flow perfectly, you have to change these and these. These are just hard codes. We're using a 6.5% interest rate. That's something that I think you can get with an agency loan these days. 30-year amortization, that's from the lender's terms, and the 15-year term rate. But if you want to change, for example, if you want to analyze scenario 2, what you would do is you click that, you do equal, you go to property summary, cell either E20 to G20. So let's analyze let's analyze the worst case scenario. This is what the property is selling at now. So do that, change the loan amount that will be found in cell E24 to G24, which is right here. So let's go 3, worst case. The equity amount, cell E26 to G26, which is right here. We're going to do this. Interest rate 6.5, we'll leave that. Amortization 30 years, 15-year term on the amortization. Cap rate, we're going to change that to what it's currently at, which is 3.79. And as you could see, a lot of our information changed. For example, the levered IRR, all of this right here, this all changed, things like that. So that's kind of what we're working with. I suggest you guys take a further in-depth look at this. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And then I wish you guys luck with this. Please, before you guys get started with anything, analyze how I did this. Like, analyze, these formulas, for example, right? Analyze how I got this cap rate, right? Analyze how I came up with this. We have a 50% capital reserve because the lender required it. Loan amount 70%, LTV, renovations 200 per free market square foot. And some of you might ask, why free market? Well, in New York now, we you by law you can't trend or increase prices on rent stabilized or rent control apartments, so it doesn't really make sense to renovate them. That's why we did the free market only, and that's where this comes into play. That's just the sum of this multiplied by that 200 per square foot, which if you guys want to see how I did that, I just made a custom thing. So yeah, that should be that. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I kind of wanted to talk about the next steps after you guys receive all that information and then, do your own analysis and try to recreate what Eric and I have created. So obviously the first step, recreate the model. And once you're done with that, share with Eric and I. We'll see how you did. If you have any questions, why we did something, how we did something, maybe a formula we used, we can explain that for you guys. In addition to that, we'll have a private sit down with every participating student. We'll take a look at your analysis. We'll show you how you could have done it differently if, there's anything you need to do. If you have any suggestions, that would be the perfect time to bring that up, how we can maybe amend the model or do anything, like that. And then we'll go on the internet and we'll help you guys, or, we'll guide you. We'll leave it up to you, but we'll guide you to look for potential deals or properties that are real life, deals out right now. Within a certain criteria, I think we'll make between 15 to, let's say 15 to 40 million will be our range. That's what we'll do. We'll do 15 to 40 million. We'll help you guys look that up, what websites to use, things like that. So taking that model that I gave you and, however you guys changed it to suit your liking, organization-wise or whatever, you'll then use that sample property that you found on the internet on your own, that we helps you guide you to find, and come up with your own analysis and figure out, is this something that Fordham Investment Co. should invest in? Is this something that you think is worthwhile? After you do that, you'll make a nice presentation and present that to our alumni and senior advisory board, where, dress code formal. We'll be down in Lincoln Center where you guys will do a presentation in front of them, and we'll kind of come up to a conclusion how you did, what makes sense, if it makes sense. It should be an overall fun, educational time. So yeah, now that we got the next steps done, I'm excited to see where you guys take this.